synthwave for you tonight. Late out here in LA. Coming up at 10:45 here in Pacific Standard Time. East Coast, you're coming up on 2 o'clock in the morning. One thing I like about Terrifier, when I first watched this film back in 15 or 16 when the first one came out, when I was introduced to Art the Clown, they used the synthwave. I mean, guys, I go back and I listen to bands like The Midnight before anybody knew who they were, FM84, Time Cop, 1983, tons of awesome 80s inspired synthwave is the name of the genre you're listening to right now. And it's weird because this movie is so fucking dark, right? I mean, it's a callback to the slasher films of the 80s. Obviously, Damien Leone is very much inspired by that. It's obvious. Anyone who's seen these films knows that's exactly what this is. It is splatter gore. Unrated. I mean, that's what's crazy about this. This film is unrated, right? So it's an X-rated film. We just don't call them that anymore, right? It's not NC-17. We just say it's unrated. Imagine taking a kid to see this. Someone DM me, man. Yeah, I took my kid to see it. They saw a kid there. What? Why are there kids in Terrifier 3? It's just about time to start the MMC evaluation. I want to be really chill tonight. Last night I went off on a Nora. I just have to just kind of, maybe I'll just leave this on the entire time while I talk. Just, right? When you hear this, I think it's Kyle, Constellation. You just like, okay, everything's good. The weird juxtaposition between this and the actual film. Let's discuss it, though. It's time for Terrifier 3 MMT evaluation, as always, live from the City of Angels as we get ready to roll into it here tonight. Let me turn the music down, and you'll pop up my camera here, and you'll see me live sitting here at almost 1 in the morning. And it's past 1 in the morning on the East Coast. It's coming up at... what is it now? 10:45, almost 11 here. Here we go. Get ready, guys. Let's do it. Let's talk about Terrifier 3. I want to show you a little bit of the trailer, and then I'm going to get into this film, and I definitely have issues with it. And it's not about the quality of the film. It's more of an ethical issue. And I think if I discuss it in this manner, I think it's fair. I think that it's also me being as unvarnished and authentic as I can when I discuss these things, because I go back and you watch Siskel and Ebert, go back and watch any one of their, reviews of a horror film back in the 80s, 90s, going back to the 70s, even with them, late 70s. You talk about the films that they savaged. Often they said, morally, why are we doing this? This is just kind of garbage you're introducing into the world. And I definitely have that feeling with Terrifier. And I just want to make sure that's clear as I get into this, that is going to shade this evaluation, because otherwise I'd be lying to you. And I'm never going to do that. That's not how I operate. So here we go. Let's get started with the trailer for Terrifier 3. Art the Clown is back in its Christmas time. Have a look.
You survived the most famous serial killer since Jack the Ripper. The 5-year anniversary is coming up. I think a lot of people would really like to hear from you after all this time. Want to know what it's like to be in the presence of that kind of evil. What goes through your brain when it's close enough to you. You feel his breath.
Roll for a few seconds to get a real good taste of this thing.
How can you be sure it was really him? I could feel it. Who's this Santa? He's scaring my kid.
Yeah, he's scaring me too.
Hey, Santa's handing out presents!
Why would he come back here? Even if he was alive, which he isn't. Wouldn't you want to get as far away from here as possible, as far away from you?
We both know this isn't over.
to go back to the Terrifier.
It's still buried there, isn't it?
It might be the only thing that could stop them.
And there's the trailer. So, listen, if you're not familiar with this, this is again harkening back to the 80s, the My Bloody Valentine, the Motel Hell, all of the just gory Friday the 13th, obviously, that's the obvious thing. But you go back and you look at all those slasher films, only this takes it to that next X-rated, completely no holds barred, right? I mean, this thing is every one of these films just progresses more and more with the kills, right? It's torture porn. I think that's the thing. When you watch this, you have to understand you're watching torture porn. I'm always a little bit weirded out listening to people laugh at other human beings getting tortured. Now, listen, I understand that it's a horror film, right? And people are there and they're laughing in anxiety and the fact that they're uncomfortable with it. I get all that, right? It's a nervous reaction in a way. But there's a dude sitting next to me. I was at the Six, which is the downstairs theater at AMC Burbank Complex, and they have the recliners, just perfect. This film's over 2 hours. Shouldn't be that long. Okay, that's another thing just to mention. In addition to the other things I have to talk about here tonight, way too long. But he's laughing like at everything. I mean, listen, when you have, and this is where I think I was a little afraid of what was going to happen here with Damien with number 3. You can't cross certain lines, okay? Right? There's certain things that as a filmmaker, I just don't think you should ever cross. And taking an axe to a roughly 10-year-old kid and slaughtering him in his bedroom as the film opens, right? And the guy next to me's laughing like he's watching an old John Candy comedy. And it's like, what in the hell is this? Is not entertainment. Now, let me speak. Those you saw the film, you're going to tell me you didn't see the kid get butchered, but you see Art the Clown go in as Santa with the axe, and you hear about 1,000 whacks of the axe, and then he comes out of the room. The little girl's there, right? It's a family, of course, a white family. Oh, I'm not doing that tonight. I'm just going to mention that. And then you have the parents in bed, and then Art goes in and starts hammering the axe on the dad. And then the mom gets taken downstairs and gets her arms cut off. I'm sorry, guys. I got to talk about this film the way it is, because the bottom line is I can't discuss what I want to do if I'm not going to be like spoilery or discuss, the grotesque nature of these kills. And I get it. That's what he's doing. I understand, guys. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying me. I grew up Catholic, okay? I grew up religious. Do I go to church all the time? No. I mean, no. But do I believe in a higher power? Do I believe in a spiritual being that created us? Yes. So when I watch something like Terrifier 3 and I'm put into this pretty much demonic movie, okay? And I know a lot of you are like, well, but at least I'm being honest, right? At least I'm being honest about this. I'm not like one of these guys like Cody fucking Leach, that guy. Good Lord, that dude. I'm sure he's saying it's the best thing that's ever been made. I don't know why you guys watch that guy. There's so many that are terrible, but at least you're getting here. You're getting somebody who's 100% authentic and real and telling you the truth of how I believe my experience was with this film. A lot of people won't do that. So hopefully you appreciate that. But I just have a problem with bringing, dare I say, evil into the world, right? This is what you're creating. You're bringing to the masses, because this film is going to be the number one film of the weekend. Wait till I show you the sales. It's crazy. When you bring this to the masses, right, and you're showing people get butchered, and at the end, I don't even know if I want to discuss. Well, fuck it at this point. At the end, forget the fact the little kid was butchered and you see arms and legs. By the way, you don't see him get killed, but when you have the quick flash and you've got a little arm, a little leg, it's like there's the body all strewn over the room. Okay. So let's not sit here and pretend that we didn't see it. Okay. It's there. I don't want to be the kind of person who brings this into the world. So, Damien, if you want to do this, that's good for you, man. You're making money. You certainly are, I would argue, more successful than me. I don't fucking care. I would rather toil in anonymity or relative anonymity than to bring this kind of garbage into the world. And again, this is from a kid who grew up watching Motel Hell, My Bloody Valentine, Extra, name any 80s slasher. Extra wasn't really a slasher, but it was violent, right? Chud. What was another one? Piranhas. All these just bloody, gory 80s films, right? Not the obvious Halloweens and the Friday the 13th. But, right, maybe I'm just because I'm older. Maybe it's because I see the world going to hell and I'm just like, I want to see more uplifting things. That doesn't mean I want to watch a faith-based film every week because I don't really like to tolerate those either. Not all of them. But I just think that this film is crossing lines and making me feel like disgusted, right? And not like disgusted from what I'm watching, like from a humanity perspective, and I talk about that a lot in film, is what I'm looking for humanity. And I know it's a horror film, I get that, but I still want to be able to latch on to something that allows me to not feel, like I just watched an absolute bloodbath that made me want to take a shower in acid, right? Not like Art the Clown would do, but you know what I'm saying. And I think also by the time this film rolls into, kill number 3, 4, 5, you're talking about the novelty's gone, right? I mean, you even feel my audience. My audience was like, oh my God, here comes Art the Clown with the axe and he's in the house. He's going to kill the family. And then even the guy that was next to me hooting, hollering, he was, by the time it was like kill number 3 or 4, he's just like, right? When he goes into the bar and he blows away 2 guys with a gun and then he liquid nitrogen freezes a dude and then breaks him apart with a chipper or a hammer. I mean, you see, guys, very specific audience we're talking about here. So if you're asking me, do I ever want to watch another Terrifier? Hell no, I'm done. And I think we are, even though at the end of this, we're definitely led to believe we're going to have another one because art continues on. I mean, it's really a version of Michael Myers with the supernatural. You could argue that there's supernatural with Myers, but I mean, not really. This has a weird ghostly possession thing going on. I don't think I really like that. Never did with Art the Clown. I feel like there's just enough of the weird, twisted, sick, violent as hell mime clown thing going on. That's enough. But, Damien's doing his own thing. And listen, I give credit to Damien for this. It's not what I would ever want to bring into the world, but I give credit to him making the film he wants to make because, listen, I don't think we shouldn't have this film. Right? Don't take it to that step. I just don't think I don't want to be part of this. Like, I would never let my kid be in this movie. Like, there's the young actresses, there's 2 little kids in this movie, plus the younger girl who's probably about like maybe 11. She's later in the movie. I would never let my kid be in this movie. You look at the script and go, what? I mean, the little girl at the end, her mom gets, I'm not going to talk about it. I don't even want to do it. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And it's like, who wants their kid, even if it's fake, who wants their kid to be on a set where you've got a guy strung up on the wall, crucifix style, beheaded, and then Art the Clown feeding the girl into his stomach? I mean, why do you want your kid on set? The people are fucking weird, man. I would never put my kid anywhere near this shit. I just think it's weird what people will do for stardom and to be in something. If I read a script that said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to stumble upon Art the Clown and they're going to disembowel you and pull your eyeballs out. I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to be in this movie. Why do people agree to this shit? Oh, it's a movie. I'm just saying it's just dehumanizing. You guys, you get where I'm going. If I haven't made my point clear by this point, I don't know how else to do it. I'll come to some of your comments. I'm by myself tonight, so if I don't get to, by the way, Steve, thanks for the big super chat last night during Anora. I didn't get to it. I really appreciate the patronage. You know, when we started this channel, it's not about it's not about views. It's not about, you know, getting sponsors, because God knows we would never get one of those, all the things that get said on this channel. But it's about me coming in here and being authentic, unvarnished, and being, I think, very fair to these films. And I think the way I approach this film tonight, I let you know exactly how I feel about it, and you understand why I'm telling you all the things I just said, and it's time to bury Art the Clown. Listen, this film is going to end up being #1 this weekend. I'm going to talk about box office in a minute. I'll get some comments, and the stream's going to be short tonight. I don't want to go on forever because I'm frankly tired. It was a late start. It was 8 o'clock. It was the first screening tonight in LA, and I'm just like, that's late. My bedtime's like 10. It's already 11. It's too late. But I suffered through the film, yes, as you heard. And it's just time. I'm done. If you're not done with Art the Clown, I'm done. I'm ready to bury him. It was a nice ride for whatever it was, and it's time to, you know, do something different. MMT score for me is a 10%. Okay, that's better than a Nora. How about that? We liked Terrifier 3 more than a Nora. Would I want to sit through either one of those films again? Hell no. I mean, more so, I would watch a Nora again before Terrifier just because of the kills. I mean, I sat through the kills. I really did. I mean, at some point I did kind of look away when you're chainsawing people and cutting a guy right through his ass and through his balls, and you know what I'm saying? You guys get it. I mean, if you don't get it by now, the way I've just literally disemboweled this film and told you what's going on, Matthew, thanks for being a member. Really appreciate it. But is it not fair? Everything I just said, I think, was very fair. People probably did faint. It wouldn't surprise me, Mount Failmore. Remember that first scene, you know, you hear about it. The first scene, I'll just walk you through it because if so, you're probably not going to watch the movie. So Art the Clown stumbles into the house. You know, the little girl's like, there's someone on the roof. Art the Clown comes in, dressed up as Santa. She hides under the sink. He goes upstairs, slaughters the little kid, right? And then you see the arms and legs. So you do see it. And then you've got mom and dad getting killed. Dad gets whacked. Mom gets cut in pieces. I mean, you know, again, it's just... Right. I mean, you know, and that's it, Ryan. I watched the movie tonight myself as well, and there's too much. It's inhumane behavior. It's over the top. It's not the humanity in desensitizing you, right? And I just worry, you know, I talk about this a lot, but I do worry about the influence of art on people, not Art the Clown, but art, right, overall. And that's why I talk about bringing, you know, we wrote our script, right? You guys know that it's good. It's better than a Nora script. I promise you that. Here's the thing, is that script is full of humanity. That script has moments that you're all going to access and understand. This film is just mayhem, right? Gory, X-rated mayhem, and really you cross lines, as I mentioned. I haven't, you know, said many times here tonight. You just don't do that. I go back to Possessor, a film that I didn't hate up until the end. That's Cronenberg's kids film. At the end, for those of you who've seen Possessor, you have a little boy, 10 years old again, roughly, and he gets his head blown away, right? It's like it's an imagined, but either way, there's a kid and his head explodes at the Scanner style, right? Like Dad. And I just said, no, that's it. I'm done. Go back to a movie, Hobo with a Shotgun, by Bobcat Goldthwait. He actually directed a horror film. Hobo with a Shotgun, same kind of thing. Splatter gore, out of control. Little kid gets blown away by a 12 gauge. This is off limits. You guys get that, right? I mean, I hope you understand that's off limits. So, you know, listen, I can't say that what Damien Leone's doing is positive in any way. I can't, other than the fact that he made the movie he wanted to make. You guys understand that? You know, you get it. It's a moral issue, and I'm sorry that I have that. I hope you do too. But if you don't, I hope you understand how someone could have that. Did they have an Art the Clown bucket? I didn't notice. That would be actually something very smart. They're selling the shit out of those. I've got the Wolverine here one. You know, I could give that to somebody, by the way. It's here somewhere. I have it. This is how much these things mean to me. They give me these things and I put it like somewhere in God knows what. But I do have, hold on. But of course, you know, I have the Gray Man popcorn box. So there's that. That'll never leave. That'll always be here. A few more comments here and then we'll get to some sales. Smile 2 looks great. Can't wait to see it next Tuesday. We'll have an early reaction stream on Tuesday night for that film. And it's one of those, not a review. Remember those? We haven't done one of those in a while because I'm actually going to go to a critic screening because I really want to see Smile 2. And I think that is Parker Finn, right? He is he's a hell of a talent. I can't wait to watch that film. I really can't. Let's see what else we got here tonight. Again, thank you, Matthew, for the membership. Really appreciate it. I didn't post a tweet reaction. I'm so tired tonight. I didn't even bother. Jim, Terrifier franchise is trash. I love the Terrifier franchise. Damien Leone is a fantastic director. Let me just touch on that, Beantown, because I think that's a good point. I do like the look of his films. He's shot in Panavision. I looked. I don't know if this is on film, but he's got the grain up. The what is that? The gain is up. It looks like it's got a cool look to it, right? It's got that 80s look. The edits are just kind of like cut and paste, slice. It's got a good look to it, just like it did at the beginning, kind of that rough indie look to it. Yeah, I mean, from a directorial standpoint, I'd like to see him do something other than this, but I mean, he's making so much cash. He's so successful doing this. Why not do more? They're doing one called, what is it called? Steamboat. It's like Steamboat Mickey, but it's a horror film. They show the trailer. I think he's involved with that. They're making a mint, right? They're making so much cash doing this splatter gore, this X-rated, and let's talk about that for a minute. You've got AMC and Regal showing an X-rated film, right? Because it is. They say unrated, it's X-rated. So you're showing X-rated films now. Now, listen, isn't it weird how society now, and this is what I got to tell you, listen, I'm not for artistic limits, but I am curious how we've gone, the pendulum has gone so far from we can't have an X-rated movie, we don't do NC-17 at AMC Regal at the major chains, and then now it's like, oh, here's Art the Clown slaughtering people and it's X, right? It's wild how society, there's no taboos anymore, and I think that's not a good thing. It just isn't. There have to be some things that are taboo, and I talk about crossing the line with the kid. That's taboo. You don't hack a kid up. I don't care if you don't show it and then you show the arms and legs. I don't care if you don't even show it at all, right? He just hears the noises. But it was a step further, right? Again, you hear the noises, then a quick flash of an arm and a leg, a little arm and a leg. It's fucked up, man. Guys, you can't defend that. You can't defend that shit. Bathroom Kills was the chainsaw, right? And then he does Snow Angels with blood. I mean, there's no other... listen, I don't, Vader or Monkey, I don't know if you're making a joke or not, but listen, violence, it's not that people, it's a tension release. I get it. But this guy was laughing like, again, he was watching like a rom-com from the 80s or something, like I said, a Candy film or a Farley. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? Then I watched him when he got up. He looked like a weirdo. There's a bunch of weirdos in the audience. You know what I'm saying? Like the alt weird crowd. I'm not one of those people. You guys know that. I mean, I think mentally I can go there, but not physically. Like people that have their hair green and purple, and then they just look weird. The crowd was full of weirdos tonight. I mean, it's not surprising. Oh, it freaking said that. Violence not funny. Well, it's not. It is to this audience. It is this audience. It's not faith-based. No, the screenplay's definitely not faith-based. Worst things happen to kids in Gaza. No, can we not do this, Hamza? Why are you doing this to me at 11 o'clock here in Los Angeles? Why are you hitting me with that shit? Oh my God, why? The shower, yeah, the shower scene was the chainsaw. And by the way, Damien Leone loves the shower. I called it. I said there'd be a shower scene. Damien Leone likes to look at young ladies that are naked. I mean, let's just call it what it is. He had the star of the 2 is back in 3. I wouldn't be surprised if she's dating him. I really wouldn't. Has anyone looked into that? I think a lot of directors, and this is good. Oh, watch out. Weber's saying something. A lot of directors, hell yeah, they take advantage of their power. You don't think Damien Leone is like, hey, let me cast you in this movie? I'm not suggesting he did. I'm just telling you that it's a recipe for doing that. And if you want to, you can. I mean, it comes, there's a lot of people who do it for that reason, right? I mean, I have this theory that a lot of rock stars, look at a lot of rock stars. They're not exactly the most attractive guy. Look at Chris Martin.
hell of a talent. But if he was just a bloke in a pub, he would never be pulling the ass he pulled, right? Not Paltrow, not what's her name from Madam Web, right? Not he wouldn't be getting all that ass. But the reason he is because he's famous and he's on a stage, he's a rock star. And it's weird because for some people, that's the prize, right? Getting the perks. For me, I don't even care. I mean, I know I'm just going to touch on this quickly. When I do this, I don't even think about, I don't care what happens with this. When, people go, well, are you angry? People are dragging you for your take on Honora, that picture you took. I don't fucking care. Do I give a shit? I'm going to get up tomorrow and do my day. I don't worry about that stuff. I don't care about the effect of me taking a selfie at the end of a movie or people like saying Weber this or that. It's not why I do this, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of people who are in this that want that notoriety. I don't care. I just want to go to the movie and leave. In fact, I like it when nobody recognizes me, and it does happen. So last night I met a young man, as it were, and we talked for a little bit after the movie, and I told him how much I just absolutely despised Honora. And he had to listen to my full wrath. But that's just the way it is. If that's how I feel. So tonight you can see I'm pretty chill because it is what it is. A couple more comments and we're out of here. Let's actually do let's look at the sales because I do want to talk about this film's going to be big. This film's going to be really big. Seat check. This is what we call the MMT seat check here on Thursday night. We look at sales for movies. The AMC app is pretty much useless at this point if I go to the website because all the showings are late. There are people in the screenings, but I wanted to show you the 8 o'clock. This is the 8:30, in fact, at the 16 here in Burbank in LA. That's a massive theater, and look how full that is, right? Again, X-rated film. X-rated film. Let me see if I can get to the next one. This is from the Grove, 8 o'clock. Pretty much sold out except for the front row, right? And then we go to Universal, and that is a pretty big theater. And look, almost every seat is taken. This film is going to be a big hit. Now, a lot of people have it somewhere around 12 or 15. I'm going to take this thing tonight at 18 and a half pushing up. Okay. I'm going to add the arrow from now on. Whenever I do my projection here on Thursday night, the arrow indicates which way I expect the money to go from where I am at this moment. So I'm at 18 and a half going up, which is insane for an X-rated horror film. It's perfect timing. It's captured the zeitgeist, no question. Everyone's curious about this thing. Watch, the views on this will be big, right, for us, which means 150 views, but that's good. That's fine. I don't care. I just don't. I don't. I don't even give a shit. I don't even pay attention. I really don't. You guys don't. No, I don't. So it's going up from 18 and a half. If this gets to 20, can you imagine? I mean, like I said, Damien's doing well. So I can't, begrudge him for making these artistic choices. Tonight's kit, Southampton. I wanted to go with the black and the red, the bloody kind of look here tonight. A couple comments, and then we will roll out of here on this Thursday night, back on likely Sunday, maybe Monday. I haven't decided yet, but we always like the Sunday night stream is always one of our favorites, right? It's the big show, but I've been pushing it to Monday if there's a film or something, because Sundays have been kind of quiet lately, but we'll probably have this to talk about. I personally laugh at all the absurdity of the gore. No, stealthy llamas. I mean, listen, I get it, right? Yes. That's what I'm saying. I'm not, for once, a lot of times I come on here and you guys, I say, like, when you see Honora, right? For those of you who haven't seen Honora, when you see Honora and you say, like, it's funny, I'm sorry, we can't have a conversation. It's fucking terrible. I know someone came in and said I saw it twice and I liked it. That's fine. I'm just telling you, I can't see at all. I can see how you're laughing at the absurdity of the gore of Terrifier 3, right? So stealthy, I get it. Like, I understand that. I'm just saying, do you also understand that when you have Art the Clown going upstairs and hacking a kid to death in his bedroom, and then not showing it, but moments later showing a little arm and a little leg severed on the ground, is that not crossing a line? Right? That's what I'm saying, right? Robert, saw Terrifier 3 tonight, and I'm just so desensitized to gore and violence that it doesn't mean anything emotionally, nor does it help the story. I'm getting to where you're coming from. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it, right? It's Art the Clown. We know the routine. He shows up. He does his little mime act. Then when he's doing the torture and he goes, right, we've all seen it. I got to make myself bigger. He's all right. We've seen it. So by the end, you're just like, okay, I get it. What's the next torture device? And that gets back to Saw, right? Torture porn. And then you know what they do to the mom in this thing at the end. I'm not going to even say it. It's like, dude, it's so fucking just, I don't need that shit in my head, right? You guys get it, right? That's the thing. Why are we letting this stuff into? I have this theory, and I know this is probably going to get me in trouble for saying this too. I don't listen to hardcore rap. Every time I listen to rap, I remember going back to when Eminem first came into the scene. Whenever I listen to Eminem or someone that's like, it's got like a rage to it and anger to it, it almost infiltrates you, right? And it turns you into something maybe you weren't. That's why I listen to a lot of, like I played tonight, the synth wave, 80s, right? A lot of alternative, the uplifting electronica. I used to be the rave DJ in Columbus. I told you guys that story. So that's where my roots are, always in electronic music. So I love synthwave. Obviously, it's why we led with the track and it's in the film. But here's the thing. I think when you fill your body, think about what you eat too. If you fill your body with garbage, and you intake rage and you intake violence, what do you think is going to happen? I'm not suggesting everybody who plays a violent video game is going to go out and do something terrible, but I can promise you this, someone along the way has been influenced by it, right? So that's the thing, is the responsibility of the artistic, whatever you're bringing into the world, you have a responsibility to bring something, in my estimation, that hopefully does the world a little better, maybe puts a smile on someone's face, or at least makes them think about their humanity, not desensitizing and butchering and just to the point debasing and really depraved stuff. And I think that's the issue, right? And I think you guys understand that. I mean, I think it's well explained what I just said. I got out of work when you go to Binghamton, New York. You make me laugh. Ambulance is my fire starter. Listen, thank you, Matthew. I appreciate, those of you who watch, can I just say as we get ready, a few more comments and we'll get out of here. I appreciate you guys watch. I think the one thing when you watch this channel, and for all the haters out there, I don't know why, there's no reason, you just don't like the fact that I'm opinionated. Here's the issue. Is that at least when you watch, you're getting somebody who is 100% unvarnished, always live. None of this shit's ever taped. So there's no second take. This is always this is what it is. So if some of the shows, like last night, I was like too aggressive with Honora. I know that. I was like dropping F-bombs. I was out of control. Even YouTube was like, this is too much. Like, we can't have advertising. I'm like, well, I don't care. That's the thing. I play a song at the start of every stream now, because I want you to hear the music. That's what I like. And I don't get any money from that. Once I do that, I get as soon as this video hits, it'll go, okay, if you're watching on X, you'll be able to watch it on YouTube, because I delete it from X, because at least on YouTube, I get some kind of monetization. But what typically happens is at the end of the stream, the next day, about let's say tomorrow morning, I'll get a notification from YouTube saying you violated the copyright by playing a song. And you know what I do every time now? I go, who fucking cares? No one else does that, because that's not what I'm doing here. I don't care. This is about talking about humanity, film, and other things in the world, such as Planet X. It's not about monetization and all this. If you like the stuff like Matthew here, and certainly like Steve, you guys are awesome, and I appreciate you if you do or do not support. But that's not the mission. The mission is to discuss films and to be unvarnished and discuss things we love. And that's the point. That's all it is. Thank you, Josiah. I don't need that shit in my head. No, it's funny, Hamza. First of all, you already threw us all for a loop when you were mentioning Gaza. And why? Can we just focus on the movie? But I used to play Grand Theft Auto. What was it? Vice City, and the one before that. I never played San Andreas. I love that game. That game was amazing. I was younger and stupider. Well, who knows if that's accurate. But here's the truth. Is that I loved, like the flamethrower and the chainsaw, and it just right. But I was also an adult. I wasn't a little kid, and there's no little kids getting cut up in that game. It's gangsters and shit. So I get, like I said, I don't want to stop this. I'm just saying I don't want to bring this into the world, right? I wouldn't now. The younger me would have probably had no problem with it, but I think it's whatever. Maybe it's wisdom. Maybe it's just I'm becoming old and becoming aware of my mortality. I just want to bring more positivity, even though the streams aren't positive. If I'm going to bring art, this is just me bullshitting on a microphone live. But if I'm going to bring art like our film, then that is going to be something I want to have people watch and take something from, not like, hey, there's someone over in the corner and we're going to take a chainsaw to their ass and cut them into 1,000 pieces and let it go for like hours and hours. Well, it feels like it. What do you consider the perfect ingredients for a horror film? Great question. Thinking of film. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. I think, listen, I'm always going to look for the humanity. Go back to Halloween, Laurie, right? That is your human thread that runs through the shape that is essentially the demon, right? Obviously. So you need to have the humanity attached. So anytime that you have a film, and I think in this film, you're going to tell me that it's the girl, right? The survivor, the last girl in 2, and she ends up being in 3 as well. Is that yes, but everything around her is so dehumanizing and so degrading and just debaucherous that I just can't even get with it. So what do I want to see? I want to see something unique. I want to see something that is, a lot of these films aren't even scary, right? Art the Clown's not even scary anymore. It's not scary. He's a joke, right? And I think that's also the other half of the Art the Clown is at this point, it's more of there's a guy next to me just laughing his ass off. It's more of a comedy than it is a horror. I mean, Smile 2, definitely, I give Smile a lot of credit, is a very no jokes, right? Zero. Hereditary is a perfect example of a film. Exorcist, perfect film. They ain't no jokes, right? Going back to Freakin', going back to looking at horror from zero humor involved. And I think Hereditary is a great example of a recent film that has that going on in spades, right? And it also has the humanity. It has the grief of mom losing her mom, and then the family dealing with it, and then the grief of losing the daughter, and then you have at the end just the total gut punch. This is a great film. I mean, this is Ari Aster's by far best film. I would argue horror masterpiece, Hereditary. It doesn't make you feel good, but that's the point. So, horror film doesn't have to make you feel sunshine and roses at the end. It has to make you feel like you have been through something and you still have something to hold on to, some kind of hope. And I go back and I look at Exorcist. You guys know I was one of the few people to defend Believer. Exorcist Believer is and I think it's a good film. I really do. Go back and watch the stream because you have the families losing a daughter, and then you also have at the end that just you think you're good, and then boom, we take it and we go with a really bleak ending that we're never going to get to. There's going to be a second half. We're not going to get that, as we know. I'm actually pissed. I was the only person who actually liked Believer, but again, what do these have? They have a human connection. Look at Leslie Odom Jr. in that film. Very good. He's so good as the dad in that film. You guys really missed it on Exorcist Believer. It's a solid film. I'm very surprised you guys missed on that. Eraserhead. You go back and you look at a lot of the stuff from the 80s for me. My formative years were during Friday the 13th, Halloween. I go back and I still remember watching Motel Hell. Like I said, My Bloody Valentine, Sleepaway Camp, was all those schlocky R-rated garbage, Basket Case, on and on and on. Extro, Chud, Humanoids from the Deep, on and on and on. Okay, so I watched all that stuff. So I love horror, but I think at this point, either I'm just becoming, as we get ready to wrap here, it's probably just a product of your taste change, and also this is another level. You look at a Chud, it was the goofy cannibal humanoid underground dwellers, right? You had the violence, but you also had these creatures in the fucking cellars. What do you call it? The gutters, whatever it is. And they were under there And they have, there's some fun factor to it. This film tries to be fun, but ends up being really debased, debaucherous, and disgusting. And I don't want to watch it again. If you liked it, your mileage varied, but you understand where I'm coming from. That's it for tonight. Thanks, guys. If I missed a super chat, I apologize. I'm exhausted. I'm back here either on Sunday or Monday. Get the alerts. Go to MMT on YouTube, Midnight Movie Talk. Look for it. Get the subscription. Hit that. Get the alerts. You'll know when I'm going live anytime. Every time we do, hit the button here. It's live. We do not do this thing taped. Every time you watch, you're watching live from the City of Angels. Until I see you next time, let me just play this music on the way out because I was so chill. I just like listening to the cool music. Anytime I can listen to synthwave, we're good. Here we go. Bring it up. Where is it? Where's my music? Here it is. All right, guys. Thanks for being here on this Thursday night. Go check it out. I'm not saying you shouldn't go see Terrifier 2, 3. But I want you to go back after you've seen it and listen to what I just said, and I think you'll be able to access everything I just said and understand it. As always, a pleasure. Thanks for being here. Peace out. Live from the City of Angels. I'll see you next time. Synthwave takes us out on this Thursday.